The crystalline spires of the Terran Diplomatic Center pierced the morning sky, their surfaces refracting sunlight into rainbow patterns across the bustling plaza below. Dr. Ariana Winters hurried through the security checkpoints, her dark hair pulled back in a hasty bun, tablet clutched to her chest. The urgent summons from the Diplomatic Council had interrupted her research on alien cellular structures. The council chamber fell silent as Ariana entered. Ambassador Roland stood at the center, his expression grave. Beside him towered a being Ariana had only seen in holographic broadcasts, an Astrian. Their bioluminescent skin shifted in patterns of deep purple and gold, and crystalline formations protruded elegantly from their shoulders and crown. "Dr. Winters," Roland began, "this is Prince Theron of the Astrian Empire. He specifically requested your presence." The prince's multifaceted eyes fixed on Ariana. "Dr. Winters, your research on xenobiology is unparalleled. My father, Emperor Varian, is dying from an unknown affliction. Our healers are powerless against it." Ariana's scientific mind whirled with possibilities. The Astrians were notoriously private about their biology, their crystalline-based life forms drastically different from carbon-based humans. "Your Highness, I'm honored, but accessing detailed information about Astrian physiology has been impossible until now." "That changes today," Theron declared, his voice resonating with harmonics that made the air vibrate. "I offer you full access to our medical archives and facilities. Save my father, and you'll have permission to publish your findings, advancing both our species' understanding." The implications staggered her. Such knowledge could revolutionize medicine for both species. But failure meant losing this unprecedented opportunity, and possibly triggering an interstellar diplomatic crisis. "When do we leave?" Ariana asked. Hours later, aboard the Astrian royal vessel, Ariana watched Earth shrink behind them. The ship's corridors were grown rather than built, crystal formations pulsing with energy. Prince Theron led her to the medical bay, where holographic displays showed the Emperor's deteriorating condition. "The crystalline structures in his core are degrading," Theron explained, his own crystals dimming with distress. "Without them, his consciousness will fragment." Ariana immersed herself in the Astrian medical database, her translator working overtime to decode their complex scientific terminology. The Emperor's condition was unlike anything in their records, the crystalline matrices that housed Astrian consciousness were literally dissolving. "Your Highness," she said finally, "I need to examine your father in person. These readings suggest the degradation isn't natural, something is actively breaking down the structures." Theron's crystals flashed with alarm. "You suspect an attack?" "I suspect a pathogen, but one so sophisticated it appears natural. Someone may have engineered it specifically to target Astrian biology." The prince's reaction was immediate. "If you're right, this is an act of war. But against whom? We've maintained peace for generations. Let's focus on saving your father first. Politics can wait." Ariana gathered her equipment. "I need samples of healthy crystal matrices to compare against the infected ones." "Use mine," Theron offered, extending his arm. As Ariana carefully extracted a small crystal sample, their eyes met. Something passed between them, trust, perhaps, or recognition of a kindred scientific spirit. The next days blurred together as Ariana worked around the clock, combining her knowledge of theoretical xenobiology with Astrian medical science. She discovered the pathogen used quantum entanglement to spread through crystalline structures, a mechanism she'd only theorized possible in her research. The breakthrough came during her third sleepless night. "Prince Theron," she called out, knowing he never strayed far from the lab. "Look at this." She displayed a hologram showing the pathogen's structure. "It's not just attacking the crystals, it's trying to rewrite them. This is beyond any natural evolution. Someone designed this to transform Astrian biology rather than destroy it." Theron studied the display, his crystals pulsing rapidly. "Transformation? Into what? I don't know yet. But now that we understand the mechanism, we can stop it. Ariana's fingers flew over the controls. We need to create a quantum-isolated chamber and introduce restructured crystals that can't be entangled. They'll act as a firebreak, stopping the spread while your father's natural systems recover. The medical team is at your disposal, Theron said. Whatever you need. As they prepared the treatment, Ariana felt the weight of history on her shoulders. This was more than saving one life, it was proving that humans and Astrians could work together, trust each other, and maybe even understand each other. The Emperor's chamber was a cathedral of crystal, every surface humming with energy. As Ariana administered the treatment, she felt Theron's presence behind her, his anxiety manifesting in rapid color changes across his skin. Hours passed in tense silence until finally, the Emperor's crystals began to stabilize, their natural luminescence returning. It's working, Ariana breathed, relief making her knees weak. The transformation has stopped, and his systems are beginning to repair themselves. Theron caught her as she swayed with exhaustion. His touch sent an unexpected tingle through her body, like a gentle electric current. You've done the impossible, he said softly. You've saved not just my father, but potentially our entire species from a threat we didn't even know existed. As Ariana looked up at him, she realized this was just the beginning. Someone had engineered this pathogen, someone with incredible knowledge of both quantum mechanics and Astrian biology. The investigation would require continued cooperation between their species. And judging by the way Theron's crystals sparkled when their eyes met, that cooperation might lead to something neither of them expected. As her father recovered in the quantum isolation chamber, Prince Theron took Ariana on a tour of the Astrian capital. The city was a forest of living crystal, buildings growing and reshaping themselves according to their inhabitants' needs. Floating platforms carried Astrians between spires, their crystalline bodies refracting sunlight into dazzling displays. Our ancestors learned to merge with the crystal formations native to our world, Theron explained as they walked through a garden of singing crystal flowers. It gave us virtual immortality, but also made us vulnerable to threats like the pathogen that attacked my father. Ariana observed how the crystals resonated with Theron's presence. The quantum entanglement in your biology, it's not just structural, is it? It's how you communicate, how you feel. Yes. Theron's crystals flickered with pleasure at her insight. Each pattern, each frequency carries meaning. Like this. He touched a nearby crystal formation, sending ripples of color through it that made Ariana's skin tingle pleasantly. Their eyes met, and Ariana felt her heart race. The scientific part of her mind noted how her human biochemistry responded to his crystalline energy patterns, while another part noticed how his colors shifted to warmer hues in her presence. Their moment was interrupted by a sharp chime. The Royal Council requests your presence, Theron said, his colors darkening. They have concerns about our collaboration. The council chamber was a geometric marvel, 12 crystalline beings arranged in a perfect dodecahedron. Their combined resonance made Ariana's teeth ache until Theron adjusted something in her translator. Dr. Winters, the first speaker's voice chimed like breaking glass. While we appreciate your assistance with His Majesty's condition, your continued presence raises security concerns. Humans have never been permitted such intimate knowledge of our biology. With respect, Ariana responded, the pathogen that attacked the Emperor was engineered using advanced understanding of both quantum mechanics and Astrian physiology. Someone already has this knowledge, someone who means you harm. Working together openly is your best defense. Murmurs of crystalline discord filled the chamber. And we should trust humans with our secrets? Your kind still war among themselves. We're not asking for military secrets, Theron interrupted. Dr. Winters seeks scientific knowledge to benefit both our species. The pathogen proved our isolation makes us vulnerable. We must adapt. The prince speaks wisely, another council member chimed. But there are protocols. If the human wishes to continue her research, she must undergo the resonance trial. Theron's crystals flashed with alarm. That's too dangerous. Her biology isn't dash. I'll do it, Ariana said firmly. Whatever it takes to prove we can work together. The resonance chamber was a perfect sphere of pure crystal. Ariana stood at its center, trying to calm her racing heart as Theron made final adjustments to her protective suit. The chamber will attempt to establish quantum resonance with your consciousness, he explained, his touch lingering on her shoulders. It's how we judge truth and intention. No human has ever attempted this. Good thing I like being first. Ariana managed a smile. I trust you. Theron's crystals pulsed with emotion. I'll be monitoring everything. If the resonance becomes too strong dash. I know. She squeezed his hand. See you soon. The chamber activated. Crystal formations grew around Ariana, their quantum fields trying to entangle with her non-crystalline consciousness. The sensation was indescribable, like having her thoughts stretched across space-time, examined from angles that shouldn't exist. She focused on her reasons for being here, scientific curiosity, desire to help, and growing feelings she couldn't quite name. The crystals responded, their patterns shifting to match her neural activity. Through the quantum connection, she sensed fragments of Astrian consciousness, their deep connection to their world, their fear of change, and their potential for growth. She showed them humanity's own journey, our struggles and triumphs, our endless drive to understand. When the chamber finally powered down, Ariana found herself in Theron's arms, his crystals pulsing in sync with her heartbeat. The council members loomed above, their formations blazing with unprecedented patterns. Extraordinary, the first speaker chimed. We have never witnessed such compatibility between crystalline and organic consciousness. Perhaps there is hope for greater understanding between our peoples. As Theron helped her stand, Ariana felt something had fundamentally changed. The resonance had left traces, subtle quantum connections that made her more aware of the crystalline energy around her, and especially aware of Theron. The council has granted you full research access, he said softly. But I suspect you've gained something far more valuable. Ariana touched her chest where she could still feel the echo of crystalline resonance. We both have. Their eyes met, organic and crystalline, as new possibilities crystallized between them. Ariana's lab in the Crystal Spire became her second home as she studied the quantum entanglement pathogen. The resonance trial had left her with enhanced sensitivity to crystalline energy, making her uniquely suited to understand Astrian biology. Emperor Varian made a full recovery, but the mystery of the pathogen's origin deepened. Ariana discovered its complexity surpassed both human and Astrian technology. Look at this sequencing, she showed Theron. The quantum patterns are like nothing in your archives. Theron's crystals dimmed with concern. Could it be from the void sectors? The uncharted regions beyond our space? Possibly. But why target the Emperor specifically? Ariana manipulated the holographic model. The pathogen was designed to alter rather than destroy. It's like someone was trying to evolve Astrian biology. Their research sessions often stretched into personal conversations. Theron was fascinated by human emotions, while Ariana learned to read the subtle meanings in his crystal patterns. Their growing closeness didn't go unnoticed. The council watches us, Theron admitted one evening, his colors shifting to intimate purples. They fear what they don't understand, like how a human could resonate so perfectly with our crystalline nature. Ariana touched his arm, feeling the familiar tingle of quantum connection. Maybe that's exactly why someone created the pathogen. To force evolution, change, connection between different forms of life. Their breakthrough came unexpectedly. While examining ancient Astrian geological samples, Ariana noticed familiar quantum patterns. Theron, look. These crystals show similar modification attempts, but natural ones, from thousands of years ago. The great merging, Theron breathed. When our ancestors first bonded with the living crystals. But these patterns suggest it wasn't entirely natural. Someone guided your evolution before, Ariana realized. And now they've returned to continue it. Their research pointed to a third species, ancient and advanced, who had helped shape both human and Astrian development. The pathogen wasn't an attack, it was an invitation to the next stage of evolution. As they shared their findings with the council, Ariana felt Theron's crystal's pulse in harmony with her heartbeat. Their connection had evolved too, into something neither species had imagined possible. The first speaker's resonance filled the chamber. If what you say is true, both our peoples stand at a crossroads. The question is, are we ready for such change? Theron took Ariana's hand, their energies merging visibly. We already are. Royal Advisor Nexus led a faction opposing the implications of Ariana and Theron's discoveries. We cannot rush into forced evolution based on ancient interference, his crystals blazed during an emergency council session. And a human-Astrian pair leading this change? Unprecedented. Precisely why it must be us, Theron countered. Our connection proves evolution is already happening naturally. The Ancient Ones didn't create the possibility, they recognized it. Ariana presented their latest findings, subtle quantum resonance between human and Astrian DNA, dormant until activated by proximity and compatibility. We're not just two separate species learning to cooperate. We're part of the same evolutionary story. But opposition grew. Traditionalist factions claimed Theron was compromised by human influence. Some suggested the pathogen had affected his judgment, while others questioned Ariana's true motives. The situation reached crisis point when Nexus proposed a law banning human Astrian genetic research. For our protection, he claimed, his crystals radiating authority. Emperor Varian, fully recovered, finally intervened. Show me, he commanded Ariana and Theron. In the resonance chamber, they demonstrated their connection. The Emperor witnessed how Ariana's consciousness harmonized with Astrian quantum fields, how Theron's crystalline patterns adapted to organic rhythms. The Ancient Ones didn't choose humans or Astrians, Ariana explained. They chose life's potential to transcend its origins. They showed us the path, but we're walking it ourselves. Varian's decision shook the crystal spires. Research would continue, with Ariana and Theron leading a new institute for evolutionary studies. Their partnership would be the first official human-Astrian union. Nexus and his followers accepted grudgingly, but a greater challenge loomed. Strange signals were detected from the void sectors, perhaps the Ancient Ones weren't finished with their work. Ariana and Theron stood at their observatory, watching the distant stars. His crystals resonated with her heartbeat as they contemplated their next adventure. Ready to make history? She asked. His colors shifted to determined gold. With you? Always. The ancient signals from the void sectors intensified. Ariana and Theron's research revealed a pattern. The quantum frequencies matched those found in both human DNA and Astrian crystals. The Ancient Ones weren't just sending a message, they were activating dormant evolutionary potential in both species. At the Institute, their teams documented unprecedented changes. Humans near Astrian settlements developed increased quantum sensitivity. Astrian crystals began incorporating organic elements naturally. The boundary between species was blurring, not through force but through natural resonance. The void sectors revealed more wonders. Ruins of crystal-organic hybrid structures, star maps showing evolutionary seeding patterns, and finally, a message: when two become one, the next door opens. Opposition faded as evidence mounted. Even Nexus acknowledged the inevitability of change after witnessing spontaneous quantum bonding between human and Astrian children at play. In a ceremony combining both cultures' traditions, Ariana and Theron formalized their union. Their resonance created new patterns never seen before, proving that love transcended biological boundaries. The Ancient One's true gift wasn't directed evolution, but the freedom to evolve together. As the first hybrid settlements took shape, Ariana and Theron prepared for their next mission, leading an expedition into the void sectors. "They're waiting for us," Theron said, his crystals harmonizing with Ariana's enhanced quantum field. "Then let's not keep them waiting," she replied, their energies merging into something gloriously new. "We're ready for whatever comes next." The stars beckoned, promising not an end, but a beginning. Two species, once separate, now pioneering humanity's next great adventure, together.